Hi, and welcome back to Peak Flicks. This is Math Grade 5 with Mrs. Rossi. Thanks for joining us. So today we're going to be multiplying larger numbers using the standard algorithm. And I have a couple of examples here, 29 times 30, 704 times 98, and 345 times 105. As you can see, these questions get increasingly harder. I'm going to go to a side sheet and show you how it's done. So let's get started with 29 times 30. In order to do this question, I'm going to start right here with the 0, and I'm going to multiply it by the 9. So 0 times 9 is 0. And I'm going to make sure I line that right up. And then I'm going to do 0 times 2, which is also 0. Again, I'm going to line that right up. Now, I've already multiplied by the ones position, so I'm going to cross that off. And since I've used the ones position, I'm going to put an X or a 0 in this place. I like to put a 0. You can choose whatever you like. Next, I'm going to move over to the 3, which is in the tens place value. So really, we're multiplying by 30 rather than just 3. So 3 times 9 is 27. Put my 7 here, and I'll put my 2 here. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 2 more is 7, 8. I'll put my 8 here. I'm going to go through, I'm going to add these all up. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 7 is 7. 8 plus nothing else is 8. So 29 times 30 is 807. Now, if I really want to check, I can go back and I can divide this out just to double check my work. It's a good idea to get into that practice. 29 into 870. 29 goes into 87 3 times. And over here, I'll do work on the side. 29 times 3 is 87. So 3 times 29 is 87. I subtract. I still have the 0 to bring down. 29 goes into 0 times. And so 29 times 30 is in fact 870. So for this question, we're going to multiply 704 by 98. And as you can see, I've made the 8 and the 9 different colors because they're different place values. And I've also lined up my number so that the larger number or the longer number is on the top and the smaller one is on the bottom. So to begin this, we're going to start with the 8 in the ones position. And we're going to go ahead and multiply it by the 4, followed by the 1, followed by the 7. So let's do that. 8 times 4 is 32. I'm going to line up the 2 and put the 3 over here to the next place value. 8 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. And 8 times 7 is 56, and I can put that whole number down here. Now I'm finished multiplying by the ones. I'm going to cross out that place value, and I'm going to add a 0 here. And now I'm going to be multiplying by the 9, which is in the tens place value. So 9 times 4 is 36. I'm going to cross this 3 out from before and put my new 3 there. 9 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. And then 9 times 7 is 63. And I'm going to be very careful to line everything up. So 2 plus 0 is 2. 3 plus 6 is 9. 6 plus 3 is 9. 5 plus 3 is 8, and 6 by itself is 6. I'm going to go over 3 positions, 1, 2, 3, ones, tens, hundreds, and make my comma. So 704 multiplied by 98 is 68,992. I can go ahead and check my work if I'd like to. For this problem, we're going to be multiplying 345 by 105. Again, with this problem, on the bottom number, I've made it 3 different colors so that I can keep my place values in shape and I can know where I'm supposed to be. So we're going to start in the ones position and multiply 5 times 5. And that's 25. I'll put my 5 down here and carry my 2. And then I'll do 5 times 4, which is 20, plus 2 more, which is 22. Place my 2 here and my other 2 up top. And then I do 5 times 3, which is 15, plus 2 more, which is 17. Again, I'm going to make sure I line up my numbers. As I've done with my last two, I'm going to cross off my ones place value and put a 0 as a placeholder. And then I'm going to move on to my tens column to multiply. Now you can see here that it's a 0, and I'm going to know that 0 times any of these numbers is going to give me 0. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw those zeros in here and save me a little time. I also have multiplied everything by 0, 0 times 5, 0 times 4, 0 times 3. I have to cross this one off too, and instead of putting 1 0, now I have to put a 0 for the ones column and a 0 for the tens column, and then I can move on to the 1. So 1 times 5 gives me 5, 1 times 4 gives me 4, and 1 times 3 gives me 3. Okay, let's add these all up. This gives me my 12, 4, 5, 6, and my 3. Again, I'm going to go over 3 positions, starting from my ones, 1, 2, 3, and I will put my comma there. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's move on to our questions of the day. So for this question, it says, Coach Gardner and Coach Ausiello are planning a trip to the Basketball Hall of Fame with their intramural sports team. There are 23 students on the team. The tickets cost $29 each. How much money should the coaches collect from the students? Explain your thinking and include a statement of the solution. I'm going to show you how to do this on a side paper, and when I return, I'll show you the results. So in my question, it's telling me that 23 students are going on this trip and they each are paying $29. So I've put in my question here, the 23 students, and I'm multiplying it by 29 because each of those students is paying $29. So I'm going to start with my ones position, and I'm going to multiply 9 times 3 and get 27. 7 goes down below, and my 2 goes up top. And then 9 times 2, which is 18, plus 2 would be 20. Now I'm finished with the ones position. I'm going to cross it off and hold its place with a 0, meaning I'm really multiplying by 20 now instead of just 2. 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 times 2 is 4. I'm going to go ahead and add all of those up. 7 plus 0 is 7, 6 plus 0 is 6, 4 plus 2 is 6, and my label here for this is 667. Now, it asked me for a statement, so I would write, each student pays $29 to go on the trip. There are 23 students. The total collected will be $667. And then I'm done. Now it's your turn to try this on your own. Please read over the question and pause the video after I've done reading it to work on finding the answer. When you've been completing the answer, unpause the video and I will show you how the work is done. The question for today is, this 54 students in band all learned 12 new songs this year. The 28 students in orchestra also learned 12 new songs. How many total songs were learned by all of the students? Explain your thinking and include a statement of the solution. You can do this, put your mind to it, and do your very, very best job. For this question, I've written down the important information that I've got. So it tells me that there are 54 students in the band. Each of those students have learned 12 new songs. And then there are 28 students in orchestra, and each of those students also have learned 12 new songs. So there's actually a couple of different ways that you can do this. We're going to explore two. The first one, I would add the total number of students first and then multiply. So the number of students that is in band is 54. And the number of students in orchestra is 28. I'm going to add those together for a total. 8 plus 4 is 12. 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So there are 82 total students. And each of those have learned how to play 12 songs. So down here, I'm going to multiply 82 times 12. I'm going to follow the same steps as before, starting in the ones position on the bottom number. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 8 is 16. Crossing the 2 off and holding its place with a 0. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 8 is 8. And I'm going to add it up. 4 plus 0 is 4. 6 plus 2 is 8. And 8 plus 1 is 9. So 984 would be the total amount of songs that kids have learned in band and orchestra. So I'm going to write that as my statement. The students in band and orchestra learned a combined total of 984 songs this year. You may be thinking that this is kind of like ELA, and it kind of is, because asking us for a statement for us to really think about how we got that answer, and does it make sense? And I'm pretty sure it does, because I've very carefully added the band members and the orchestra members to get a total number of students, and then I've multiplied that by the total number of songs, which was 12. And I'm feeling very confident about the way I did this first. Add first and then multiply. The next thing I'm going to do is show you a secondary way to organize this information. And I'm going to take those two numbers separately. I'm going to do the band first, which was 54. And I'm going to multiply that by the number of songs that they learned. So this is band. And then I'm going to take the number of kids in orchestra, which is 28. And I'm going to multiply that by 12. And then after I find the products of these two, I'm going to add them together for the total and see what I get. They should be exactly the same numbers. So 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10. I'm going to cross that out and hold its place. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 5 is 5. I'm going to add that all up. We've got 8, we've got 4, and we've got 6. So 648 students learned, 648 songs were learned in band, and now we're going to find out how many for orchestra. We're going to multiply 2 times 8 and get 16. 2 times 2 and get 4, and add the one more, which is 5. Cross that one off because I've used it. I'm going to cross this place value off and put a 0 to hold its spot. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. We're going to add that up. 6 plus 0 is 6. 8 plus 5 is 13. Clear that one. 2 plus 1 is 3. And so the total number of songs learned in orchestra is 336. And I'm going to add those two totals together to get the ending total of how many songs were learned. So 648 plus 336. 6 plus 8 is 14. Carry that 1. 3 plus 4 is 7. Plus 1 is 8. And 6 plus 3 is 9. So 984 songs were learned by the band and orchestra students. And so when I'm looking at this, I have 984 songs here. This is the second method. and I have 984 songs for the first method. So it really just depends on which is easier for you. So I'm going to go through them one more time. In this one, we're going to add the amount of students first and then multiply it by 12, getting a total of 984. And on the second one, I'm going to multiply the amount of kids in band by 12 and get their total amount of songs for band. And I'm going to take the amount of kids in orchestra times 12 and get the total amount of the total amount of songs in orchestra. And I'm going to take these two numbers and add them together for the total. So you may choose whatever method you want, as long as you come up with the correct answer, and whatever you're feeling comfortable with is the right thing. How fast can you be? Well, let's see. 20 divided by 2 is equal to 10. 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. 14 divided by 2 is equal to 7. 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5. 24 divided by 2 is equal to 12. 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6. 22 divided by 2 is equal to 11. 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4. 16 divided by 2 is equal to 8. 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. 0 divided by 2 is equal to 0. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. 18 divided by 2 is equal to 9. How fast are you? I know you're getting faster every day, but you still want to improve, so you have a couple of things that you can do. You can make your own flashcards. You can go on Reflex Math. You can practice with a partner in your family. Hello, PeakFlix Math Scholars. For today's exit plan, I'm going to ask you to try 3 things. One of them is going on Zearn. One of them is trying out some more Reflex Math. And the last, to really flex those PeakFlix Math Scholars muscles, is to complete the exit ticket to share what you know. I hope you'll join us tomorrow. Have a great day.